Hi everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids, and in this video I want to talk to you about Apple. Now, I've covered Apple products for many years on the Geekanoids channel, and in this video I want to share with you my experience about how they handle PR or public relations, new product releases and launches, new product leaks, and also I want to discuss with you why I no longer get sent review products from Apple. So before I get this video underway, I want to let you know that there is an extended length version of this video. It goes into a little bit more depth, as well as some secrets that I'm not going to share in this video on YouTube. If you want to gain access to this extended length video, check out the link in the video description to my Patreon campaign. You can find it at davidcrier.uk. So let's start by covering off some of my history and how I got into covering Apple products. Now, back in the day, I used to be an IBM engineer. I used to install Windows NT systems and servers into banks and various commercial businesses. When that contract came to an end, I didn't want to stay in that particular industry. I didn't enjoy it 100%. And I got involved with the Commodore Amiga. In fact, I started publishing my own little club-based magazine with cover-mounted discs that used to go out to newsagents. I used to actually do the deliveries to newsagents myself, as well as all the design and all of the writing. And that was a great time. That really sparked my interest in graphic design. And I started to self-teach myself how to design things like logos, leaflets, brochures, etc. And I picked up some clients along the way, some private clients. And I also got invited to head up this design department within a printers. They had somebody leaving, they needed a replacement, and got in contact with me, and I said, yeah, I'm up for the job. So I used to be in charge of this design department. Now, I was still exposed to the Windows platform, of course. The Windows-based PCs that they had in the business were primarily for doing accounting, managing customer details and invoices, etc. And all of the design department was Mac-based. And that's what really sparked my interest in the Apple platform. I used to use Mac OS 8 back then, and it did have its issues, but I really loved the applications that were available to allow me to be very creative. And I loved my, I think it was 3 or 4 years that I worked there. And when I left, I had been in that position for quite a while where I was always asked for advice about technology products. So I would give my advice. Sometimes it would be, what's the best mobile phone? You know, and they were mobile phones back then, not smartphones. The iPhone wasn't even released. And I loved sharing this knowledge I loved it so much that I started putting it down onto paper or onto screen. I used to write for a few websites. I did freelance work for CNET and also wrote for MacNN. And it was a great time. And I wanted to start my own thing, so I got involved in my own website, or blog as it was called then, and I also got involved with YouTube and started showing products on screen. And my love for Apple carried over because I used the Apple platform to create my videos. And I covered new Apple releases and also new store openings as well. I even used to attend all of the new store openings in the UK. And because there wasn't many of us around then covering this sort of thing, Apple hooked on to the fact that I had a good audience. And they used to invite me down to a store opening. And I even used to be allowed into the store with the employees before it even opened. And I used to have a prime position photographing the new customers coming in as the store opened, where all the Apple employees were cheering and clapping, and you'd see a line of people coming down the middle gangway in a store. It was an amazing, and dare I say it, magical time. But I did make one mistake during one store opening, and I'm going to share that with you in the extended length version of this video, and it explains why I no longer get sent Apple products to review. So during this time, Steve Jobs was still in charge, and he was a great inspiration to me. And I used to feel very, very special when the Apple PR team used to send me a piece of software or an iPod or a piece of Apple hardware. It was a great privilege to be sent something to review and feature on either the website or on YouTube. It was just a really great time. And it was a shame that that was all spoiled, but I want to cover off just in this section of the video why I think Apple really do have a stronghold on the way their PR is managed. Now, you can email Apple's PR division and sometimes you'll get a response. But if they've got nothing to say, you won't get just a polite email back saying, hey, thanks for the email, but we can't send you something out this time, or we've got no comment. You just won't get a reply. When it comes to how they handle review products, you can really see throughout the history of Apple how they do favour certain journalists. Now, I'm not going to really point my finger at anyone, I'm just going to make a few examples, and that is the likes of Walt Mossberg or David Pogue. They cover pretty much every Apple released product, and they get it maybe 2 weeks before it's actually launched, maybe even longer. There's even a story online that I read that David Pogue, during his initial testing of the first Apple TV when it was launched, was experiencing some problems with it, and Apple actually dispatched somebody to his home to make sure that he had a good experience with this product. Now, I'm also in no way saying that Apple control what they write, but when I read Walt Mossberg's articles or David Pogue's, they do point out some of the negative things, but overall they're very, very positive about Apple products. Now, I know a lot of you that may have watched the Geekanoids channel for many years will say, well, hey Dave, you're always positive about Apple products. Well, for the most part I am, and that's because my experience and what Apple deliver to me by way of products and user experience is generally very good. But if I do experience something bad, then I do share it with you. If you look back through the history of my videos, you'll see that I had a very bad experience with an Apple MacBook Pro once, and I shared that with you online. So do I think Apple could handle their PR differently or better? Well, certainly I do think they could. In the era of Steve Jobs, everything went through Steve Jobs. Sort of the buck stopped with Steve. And if he said something had to be changed, something was changed. You know, if a particular issue had to be addressed, it was addressed. Remember the issue that they had with the iPhone's antenna and the signal? Antenna gate? You know, it was addressed very promptly. Maybe not in the best way, but it was taken public and dealt with. Now, during Tim Cook's era, up to current day, things are a lot more relaxed. You can see things changing in the way that Apple work. And maybe things will start to change in the way they interact with journalists as well. I think it would do them a lot of good if they let journalists really speak their mind without the fear of losing access to Apple products. Now, I also want to talk to you about Apple leaks. This is a very touchy subject. Are Apple leaks deliberate? You know, when we see these pictures of iPhones, is it really something that's been leaked accidentally, or are some of the leaks actually orchestrated by Apple? Well, I think there's two ways of looking at this particular subject. I think that some of the leaks are definitely orchestrated. When you see something that's kept under wraps so well suddenly come out online, you've got to wonder how that has got out. Now, of course, some of the manufacturing of their products are dealt with outside of the company, but you look at something like the acquisition of Beats by Dre, and even their PR team didn't know about this right until it was actually announced. So they managed to keep something like that very, very secret. If they're dealing with a product launch, the secrecy is going to be paramount. It really is going to be under lock and key. So if something does leak out, Apple could very, very easily stamp it down and make it quiet again. They've got that sort of power to be able to do that. The other way of looking at it is reaction leaks. So if something does leak out accidentally, for example, a manufacturer posts the back of a casement on an iPhone 6 or posts something to do with the circuit board, then Apple can react to that and post something that completely blows that rumour out of the water and makes people focus in a different direction. So I believe they do both of these different types of product leak. So overall, I think that Apple handle things as any company would, really. I think some of the things they do are underhand, but for the most part their intentions are right. They're trying to deliver us a fantastic user experience, and for the most part they do that. I want to talk to you also about why I think they do stamp on particular journalists, and I have actually experienced this firsthand, but I'm going to share that with you in the extended length version of this video. So they're just some of my thoughts about Apple. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know your comments in the comment section below. Hit that like button, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see another video of mine, please do click the annotation on the top of your screen now, and also you can click the annotation on the bottom of your screen and subscribe to the Geekanoids channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again next time.